Guess what I just realized? So, I accidentally used the same seed for this world as I did for my, I think my original Minecraft Let's Play. Uh, I just typed in the number 1 into the seed portion, and so this is where the mine shaft used to be, I'm pretty sure. And over here is where the house was, or I think over here. No, this is the mine shaft and this is the house. And so, yes, this is where the series started, I'm pretty sure. And this is actually where I put the tree farm in that series. And no, it was further over here. This was the mine shaft, and this was the house. And you know, I can actually show you verifiable proof. That's the pillager tower that I found in the Let's Play. Over here, there should be the first iron I found in the entire world, in this cave right here, right there. And then further down here I found the first coal right here, and more iron over here. And it's actually making me want to do another Let's Play. But besides that, I've actually been experimenting with some other redstone things. So this is an XOR gate that is literally 1 tile wide and tileable. And so this works using the memory flip-flop that I designed, actually. And you can see they don't even interfere with each other because they're staggered by 1 vertically. And this makes it so that you can have a bank of 8 of these horizontally, forming up to only 8 blocks wide, and that can be the first portion of a full adder circuit in an ALU. And so you can have the addition portion of your ALU, at least a third of it, I think, be about that wide. And that's pretty extreme. You would need to have, however, the AND gates be separate from this and the second bank of XORs as well. So the adder itself would probably actually be not quite as so compact. And over here, this is the new decoder designs that I've been experimenting with. And I've actually figured out a better way to do the decoders than over there, where each portion of the decoder is where it needs to be, and the composite cable runs up to those nodes. And this is actually the best design I've made so far, the one in the middle. It's both the fastest and also about as compact as the other one up here. As you can see, it updates slightly sooner, which is worth a lot in Redstone. This is based on the old design. This is a new design that's actually based on even older technology, but with the new concepts. And this is just the bits you want on, you need a redstone torch there, and the bits you want off, you just put a repeater, and so it's synchronized and balanced. And then before that, you just have the composite cable running directly in, so that you can actually have it be even more compact than this, which is also just as fast as the one above it, but much bigger. As you see, there's all this empty, unused space. Also, this part here is just to make this compatible with the memory cells, so that it only activates on the rising edge instead of the rising and falling edges, because that would be bad. And now I think that's all of the things off camera covered, so I can probably begin doing things on camera. I'm going to experiment with tiling this new design of decoder first. This is going to get pretty cramped. So let's just test to see if this works well. The devil is in the details. I'm seeing a problem with this one. Or at least I think I am. Oh, never mind. It's working according to my design. There. That should be good enough. And then the hole I can just fill in, which is less work than getting rid of all of that garbage, I think. There. And so that's the problem we're dealing with here. Actually, that junction wasn't too huge, and is probably actually more compact than these ribbon lines. So I'll probably just do that. Yeah, probably going to be the best option. And then for this, I think having it stacked vertically all the way to 16 is probably not too terrible. The biggest concern is the staircase for the redstone would need to be massive, and thus there would be huge signal propagation delay. And these are just going to be debug levers for right now. And of course, this here is going to need to get out of here because it's outdated and barbaric. Trying to remember how I did this. Yeah, this is correct. And so I can just continue like that, and I might want to actually compress the tiling of this down by 1 just to make the staircase shorter. Although then there would need to be some kind of weird thing happening here in order to get them to the correct places. Busing. So far, this is still the thing we have for getting redstone vertical. Or at least I'm pretty sure. And whenever the signal strength drops below acceptable levels, there needs to be a node that's clamped onto the staircase in order to repeat the signal. And then, after all of that, the real trouble is getting the signal back down again because the staircases only bring the signal up. Yes, this is going to be a challenge, which is good. It wouldn't be fun if it wasn't challenging. So on this side, I'm just going to experiment with this divide. And on the other side, I'm going to keep it the other way just in case. And look at how much more compact that already looks. That makes a huge difference. It literally compresses it by a factor of about 2, not counting this extra space here from the tiling, as there is on every other one of these here. So actually this space here would be 7 tiles wide instead of the theoretical 8 of the tiling itself because of the gap. And these will need their own staircase as well. Actually, I just now thought of that. The reason I had it the other way before is because of the staircases. However, one thing I can do about this is to stagger them. So, uh, quick explanation of what I mean. There's actually a special way to do this. Like this. That's the other way to uncomposite them into a ribbon. And I can do this just like this, and then have the staircases be at their correct areas, or positions. Actually, these should be all on the same level. And then... I'm trying to think of a good way to do this. There. And these all function according to the design. There. And that's our staircasing that we're going to be using. I'm sure. Not entirely sure. I could change it. And it can work just like that. And then there's room here for the final one. Only we want to get that as close to where we want the signal to get to as possible. So I'm going to have that be here instead. Actually, I'm going to have it be like that in order to preserve everything. Although that collides with the decoders. So actually, instead of having it be on that side, we should have that be on this side. And then... No, that doesn't work. But this will. There. And so this is going to be how we get the signal up. And then I also suspect that we are going to need some signal repeating happening in here in order to make sure that everything gets to where it needs to go. And power them all in order to debug. Yeah, see, this signal doesn't even reach all the way. And so, probably put that right there. This is how this is going to work. And the reason glowstone allows you to do this is because the game files it classifies as having characteristics of both a solid block and a non-solid block, strangely. Yeah, that's the first two levels done. I think we'll only actually need to put signal repeaters on the staircases at maximum 2 or 3 times in this entire staircase for a maximum signal delay of 3 ticks, which is pretty good, actually. Hmm. And then we can do the same thing on this side, and instead of having it come down at the bottom, we can make the staircase bring it out at the top, just to simplify things. And then we can just have a diagonal line going down to the ground level if we want. However, I think it would actually be pretty nice to have more verticality in this one. Hmm. So I might actually want to leave that cable up until we need to bring it down later. And I'm also going to need to clear out this area in order to make more room. This entire area is going to be one giant machine. Yes. And this is just a kind of an exploit for only taking the rising edge of a signal and only for 1 tick, which is perfect for this. And this will be the next level of this, the tiling, the stacking. I wish I knew a better way to compress this, though. Actually, let's do an experiment. This looks like it will work. And then we can have this be like this. I'm already seeing a potential problem with signal interference between the stacks for the tiles. Yeah, that would turn that on, which means we would need to figure out a different tiling method for this. Uh, there's no way to know how this is going to behave until you actually try, and that's the trial and error portion of this. Hmm. I'm having an idea. What about Hmm. That works, but this signal is inverted. Of course. Of course it is. Hmm. And if I do something like this, it'll interfere with the next one in the stack, like that. Hmm. In order to get this to stack by 2 blocks per tile, this is going to need to be hyper compacted. We can at least fill out this part of the design just to get an idea of what's happening. I see another potential problem here. Hmm. Yeah. A new idea. The signal coming out would need to be inverted to make this work. And then we would need to maybe re-invert it later. Hmm. But that already looks like it won't interfere with itself, that is. Or the ones adjacent. Yeah. And so now that's successfully as compressed as possible. However, now the only problem is this one portion right here. Figuring out how to power specifically which pistons by which signal. Oh, I just had an idea. No, actually, wait. Oh, that gets powered through that. That's not good. Uh, hmm. Feels like trying to dial a phone number with fingers larger than the phone. Which is actually a great analogy for this. Hmm. There must be some way to do this. And of course this becomes invalidated by that as well. Oh yeah, and we need to do that in here, where it's going to be even more complicated. There doesn't appear to be any practical way to do this. This one part right here. Unless I were to actually change how I do this. This back end part. Which, if I did, there's a pretty good chance it won't even tile by 2 vertically anymore. So this is actually a problem for later. I think I've spent enough time on this though for right now. I made a lot of progress already.